Namaste and welcome to Global Desi Podcast. To celebrate the incredible journey of the 30 million global Indians settled outside India, we're here to shine a light on the extraordinary stories of people from all walks of life.
What time in your school you realize that you can go to university? What role your mother played in your education?
I hope that the story inspires others to grab the opportunities that come along. And anytime I go back to Western Hills Education Centre, around the top of this was there's a walkway. And I was standing on the walkway at lunchtime, and my 50 years old messing around.
Good. So I hope our audience will get some inspiration and ideas from you. So you call yourself as a Thatcher baby who found his way in Labour Party. So what experience during Margaret Thatcher's era that shaped your political ideology and ultimately led you to join Labour Party?
I joined the Labour Party because of the values of the party, of social justice.
Your party lost all the 6 seats it held in Scotland. Fast forward to 2024. Now we can see that Labour Party is comfortably moving ahead of other parties. And the recent by-election win at Rutherglen, do you think that these signs are early signs of change in Scottish politics?
So yes, of course, we've come from a Western election result in our history to be in a position whereby the polls look good and we could have an opportunity to win the next election.
I just don't want to predict something, but every year the person they invite as the chief guest to become the prime minister, like last time they invited Rishi Sunak and he became the prime. This year Keir Starmer was the chief guest. So I'm not sure. I'm not predicting anything risky, which is I think India is the biggest consumer. The audience of our podcast are global DCs, people of Indian origin living abroad in America, UK, and other parts of the world. So, but however, the relationship between Labour and Indian diaspora suffered a lot, especially just before the French led many voters to turn away from Labour Party. So, Ian, I know that you're a die-hard Hearts fan.
Yes.
So, do you go and watch matches in the stadium as well?
As much as I can. I've not had a season ticket for some years because I wasn't able to go.
So, do you enjoy Indian curry? Is there any particular Indian curry you like?
Yes, I'm a big fan of Rogan Josh. The Indian diaspora community in the UK provides so much to our economy, provides so much to our services, and provides so much to our communities and culture, and that's something we don't say thank you enough for, and let's work together for a brighter future.
Thank you. From Edinburgh South. He has been a member of parliament since May 2010, almost the same time as SNP is ruling in Scotland, yeah?
Absolutely.
And he is also Shadow Secretary of State for Scotland. Welcome, Ian. Thanks for having us in our podcast.
Thank you for inviting me.
So, Ian, our podcast celebrates the power of human connection and celebrates the fascinating stories which people get inspired. So, your story from Westerhells to Westminster is truly inspiring. So, let's dive into your early life and your remarkable journey. So, can you tell us about your early life? In what time in your school you realized that you can go to university? You know, whether it was your background, it was not the norm in your family. So how did it all started, and what role your mother played in your education? And I came to know that she shaped the character you are today. So can you tell us more about your dedication and sacrifices of your mother and about your early life, Ian?
Yeah, well, thank you for having me on, and it's a story I do like to tell because I hope that the story inspires others to grab the opportunities that come along. And anytime I go back to Western Hills Education Centre, students there, I always say to them, you grab every opportunity you get, never let anyone tell you can't do something. And move on as much as you possibly can in life. And I came from a very, very supportive family. I was brought up in Western Hills during the 1980s, so I was Thatcher growing up, and that had its challenges socially and economically from the wider society, Western and my family. And they will really shape the way that I thought about things and really encouraged me to get on and go to university. I wish to do so. And instead, just a few weeks ago, I met my former vice principal from Hill, who's now in his 70s.
Wow.
And he was the one that...
He must be proud of you, yeah?
Well, I'm also very proud of him because he's been in education all his life, passionate about it. And then I was recalling the story with him, Danny Costello, that in the school I was at, there's a swimming pool at West Hills. Somebody bottle it and all that. Around the top of the swimming pool there's a walkway. And I was standing on the walkway one lunchtime in my 50th school, messing around a little bit. And he approached me and he said, "Can I have a quick word?" And I thought, I'm just about to be flipped in the ear for doing something I shouldn't have been doing. And he said, "Have you thought about going to university?" And I was really posed the question. I had thought about it, but I had posed myself the question. And he said, "Look, 60 here, there's not really going to be anything for you. Why don't we look at getting you into an extra program for university, making sure you get the grades that we get here, and then we can see if we can get you through on that basis." And it worked out. I did the LEAPS program at the University of Edinburgh, which is the access program for
what did you graduate in?
I graduated in social policy, politics and law. I started in maths and physics. As a technician, you'll be a physicist and a mathematician as well. I lasted the process of a few months and then decided that wasn't going to be for me. And it was great. So it did come from a very supportive background, inspirational teachers. My father died when I was 9. I had an older brother at 13 who was in the 39s. But let's just us with my mother and extended family who lived not far from us. But could never do anything other than had a very happy childhood. Despite the challenges and difficulties in the family and wider society. And I do like telling the story because I do want it to inspire other people to do the things that they want to do. Everyone has something in them, whether it be technical or academic, that they can do in life, and they should just shoot for the stars, shoot for ambitions.
So, losing your father at a very young age must have a very profound impact on and experience you had. So, did all these challenges led you to do something for social justice or public services?
Yes, all of that kind of thing shapes your views on life and shapes your values. And I suppose, growing up at that time, you aren't consciously aware that you're political. But of course, everything around you is political. So we were taught in our household when Maria became Margaret Thatcher as the Prime Minister, who wanted the TV. I won't admit whether I still do that or not. But those things were things shaped. And my MP at the time, we ended up being the Foreign Secretary. I ran part of the campaign to retire him actually in 1997 and 2001. So there's that kind of politics that does shape your values, and that's why I never had an ambition to be an elected politician and be a member of Parliament. I have been quite fortunate in being in the right place at the right time to do so, but I do have a burning desire in terms of trying to make sure that the world is fairer, that social justice is delivered, and that poverty is eradicated. And it's not out with the realms of possibility of political will that should happen. Just give me the opportunity to have a try at it. That's what we're heading towards for the next election, and I hope we'll give the people us the opportunity at least try and do the things we want to do.
Good. So I hope our audience will get some inspiration and ideas from you. So you call yourself as a Thatcher baby who found his way in Labour Party. So what experience during Margaret Thatcher's era that shaped your political ideology and ultimately led you to join Labour Party?
I joined the Labour Party because of the values of the party, of social justice, of equality, of opportunity, which is essentially the story of my life. And actually, as well, there were 3 conditions about being a member of that. You had to be patriotic about Scotland, which, fellow Scotland playing at rugby, football, or fiddlywinks, on the top of your chair, willing them to win. The second one, you had to be a fan of Park and Road in football. And the third one is you had to have the values of a Labour. And each of those 3 things I managed to achieve. I'm not quite so sure what would have happened if I didn't achieve one of those 2 things, if I would have been adopted out or sold in the family. But those are the 3 conditions. So a very, very political, small P family without being political in the sense of elected.
But they had a political awareness in the family. Okay.
And that awareness came from their own experience. Children with asthma, Thatcher protesting, there was no such thing as society, poverty being a natural thing for the economy, always bestowed on communities. So that was the frustration of it.
Yeah, I understand that. So, if now let's change the gear, shift into Scottish politics. In 2019, your Labour Party, the party of Donald Davers, John Smith, Robin Cook's party, was facing an existential crisis. Your party lost all the 6 seats it held in Scotland. Ian Murray was the only Labour MP re-elected from Edinburgh South. So you must be proud about yourself. Fast forward to 2024, now we can see that Labour Party is comfortably pulling ahead of other parties, and the recent by-election win at Rutherglen. Do you think that these signs are early signs of change in Scottish politics? And can you tell us how your party is preparing for the upcoming general election?
Well, look, firstly, let's be confident but not complacent, because polls are a snapshot of what's happening yesterday, not what's going to happen tomorrow.
Right.
So yes, of course, we've come from the worst election result in our history to being in a position whereby the polls look good and we could have an opportunity to win the next election. That is as far as our confidence goes at the moment in terms of where we are. And that's what we have to do, is win the people's trust. And what we have done is that, and the public have seen this to me every day, whether it be in Rutherglen or whether it be anywhere in Scotland or most in the UK, there's a desire to change. Not just a desire to change, there's a demand for change. And the Fed, so the four stages, if you like, are that the public are demanding change. They know now that both the Conservatives and the SNP are unfit to govern, and it's time for a change, time to move on. They know that this is a changed Labour Party. They know that Nassau and Pittsburgh have changed to be a credible part of government now. And the fourth thing is they're really responding to the way in which we wish to change the country, and it is about those values that we spoke about before: social justice, of equality, and fairness. And of trying to find a way through the real problems that people have had over the last decade and a half. So that thirst for change embodies in the Labour Party, and the message that I just want to send out to them is there will be a rocky road ahead. We will inherit something that's unprecedented in terms of the dire economic circumstances. But give us the opportunity to show you we can do something different. Give us the opportunity to show that politics can change lives. Give us that opportunity to be able to go into government and show you the future can be brighter. Because without that opportunity, there's none of it. Right. So the polls mean nothing until such times as people actually put the cross in the box and deliver the change that they so desire, and give us the opportunity to prove that the politics are different.
So, in Rutherglen, there is a Hindu temple, Hindu temple of Scotland. I'm not sure if the new MP, I don't remember his name, Michael Shanks. I'm not sure if he's visited it, but a lot of previous SNP MPs have visited it. If you meet him next time, just ask him to visit the Hindu temple in Scotland, in Rutherglen.
And forgive me, I can't remember the names of the temples, but Keir was there recently.
Yes, Nesden Temple.
Yes. I know Streeting spends a lot of time in the temple speaking to the community. And there's always Labour politicians who they represent the temple and the communities or not, or whether or not. So I'm happy to pass it on. I might have been already, but
sure. Thank you. So you said in one of the interviews that neither the Ukraine war or the COVID caused this economic crisis. So what has caused this mess we are in? The rise of cost of living, the mortgage rates are all-time high, and unemployment are high, GP waiting lists are high. You've been pursuing for all of these work. So do you think the Scottish borders are crossed between Westminster and Holyrood? So what are your party's plan to take us out from this economic mess? And so I just wanted to know, and for example, if your party comes into power, how can you ensure that the Scottish government and UK government work together for this cause, not against each other? So what are your thoughts on that?
Well, going back to the very start of your question, there's no doubt that geopolitical circumstances change the situation economically here and other big issues like pricing and inflation. However, all of these things were a problem before COVID. All of these things were a problem before the Ukraine war as well, because we had a political scenario from 2010 where growth has been anemic at best, where there's been no investment in the economy, where on stuff because of austerity, a lot of money's been supplies been taken out of the economy. So when you look at all of that, we've had low growth in this country and high taxes for too long, and you can't tax your way to growth. So our main proposition at the election in terms of what we want to do as a country, is we're going to have a chase for that feeds into the We've got 1 in 6 people in Scotland in chase readiness, 1 in 7 across the UK. We've got an education of some kind. We've got roads coming in, we've got council services on that use. Nothing seems to work. So when you say to people, give me a sentence of how you feel the country should be, they say something. Nothing seems to work. Right. So we've got a big transformation job to do to get growth in the economy, generate the income for the public services required, and invest and reform our public services. So in a nutshell, that's where it is. And sitting alongside it, of course, is the chase for the big issues of the future. The Green Revolution, turning the UK into a clean green energy superpower by 2030 is a huge ambition. And AI, using AI in tech, health services, in our education system, in our public services to make them better, so we get more reform out those kind of services. There's 2 big examples of the stuff we want to do. And then having a fair tax system. People should just pay their fair share. Full stop. There's no debate about that, just full stop.
So is there any 2 or 3 quick wins which you suggest to bring the economy back to? Is there anything which Labour Party is thinking? Any quick wins? I know there's no shortcut to.
There is no shortcut to it. There are some quick wins. The quick wins is stability, credibility, integrity, and trust. You can do that on day one. Then your policies kick in. The other big quick wins are to try and get a way to make it quicker and cheaper and easier for the green revolution to happen. So those are relatively quick wins. But quick wins, because chasing the quick wins gives you that short-term sticking cost of politics. It just builds up the problems in the future. And actually, it's because we've had quick win politics since 2010 that we're in the mess we're in now, because the chickens have come home to roost. It's got to be a decade of national renewal. It's got to be everybody working together with the mission for government to try and grow the economy so that everyone benefits.
So no matter which government comes next, I hope that they try to take out us from this crisis and social issues we are facing.
And the social issues are only going to get worse.
So the main audience of our podcast are global DCs, people of Indian origin living abroad in America, UK, and other parts of the world. So there has to be a question for Indian diaspora. So traditionally, the British Indians and the British Hindus, most of them voted for Labour since centuries, so since decades, I would say. So, but however, the relationship between Labour and Indian diaspora suffered a lot, especially just before the 2019 general election, where there was some which were internationalized by the Labour Party's chief, which led many voters to turn away from Labour Party. So, and recently, last year, I was in an India-UK Week conference in London, where Keir Starmer was the chief guest, and he promised that he will reset the relationship between Indian diaspora and Labour Party. So, in your view, what steps you are taking to re-engage with Indian diaspora and build the confidence, not just for this campaign season, genuinely hear their concerns and trying to reconnect with them?
Yes, well, I think the first thing to say is that your analysis is correct. And what Keir has done, what the whole team has been doing, is re-engaging, listening, learning, and then giving that commitment that Keir has given. And we've talked already, he has been visiting proactively the diaspora community here in the community itself. A lot of us have been doing the same, and that sends out the strong message that they want to engage in this engagement, and that's really, really important. So the first thing is to engage. I think the second thing is to say thank you. I don't think we've ever said thank you to the Indian diaspora community for not only what they've contributed internationally, but what they contributed here. And there is not a community you can go into where there's not been a significant contribution made by the Indian diaspora community. Whether it be first generation, second, third, or the like. So that's really important to do that. And the third thing is to then be much more practical about resetting relationships. So trade, not just trading goods, not just trading services, but trading
Cultural exchange as well.
The cultural exchange is very strong. Trading relationship are very strong. Historic and cultural relationship. And the Labour Party is the friend and the political party of the diaspora community. Keir knows that, he's given that commitment, and he will follow that through if he's Prime Minister. But ultimately, even if he's not Prime Minister, and even if we don't win the next general election, it's really important for the Labour Party.
Yeah, that is most important. Yeah.
We're doing some very practical things too. We've made a really conscious effort to select candidates and one seats from the diaspora communities. That's been a really strong thing. So if we win those seats, it'll be the largest, I think, number of Indian diaspora members of parliament. That's really important as well, because that's not just about resetting the relationship, that's molding and shaping the relationship as well. So there's the practical things and there's the actual things, but I think really resetting that relationship is not just a commitment and a desire, it's the right thing to do. That's the starting point, is to say thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. So, like, we have this India UK week, which has been happening by Indian Global Forum. They do it every year, and I mean, I just don't want to predict something, but every year the person they invite as the chief guest they become the prime minister. Like last time they invited Rishi Sunak and he became the prime. This year Keir Starmer was the chief guest. So I'm not sure. I'm not predicting anything.
If that is the prediction of who speaks as the chief guest, then you'll have a queue of people asking to be invited.
So if we want to start something that's such kind of a forum in Scotland with interest of Scotland, you cannot avoid India now because it's the most growing economy. The middle class is growing, and I can see, like, I've been lived here for the last 15 years, and I can see the number of people coming as a tourist and the new businesses they are bringing, and even the IT companies like TCS, Infosys, and other, their strength are increasing, and they're taking people, investors from here to India, and Indian investors are coming to invest in whiskey, which is I think India is the biggest consumer of whiskey. There's a huge potential. So I've been trying to, influence and speak to member of parliament to have similar kind of a forum for Scotland where we can work together and project Scotland as a market in global economy. So do you think as an MP you would support us?
Absolutely, and I think it's really important because you mentioned there things like the companies on tech companies, that big thing about the contribution that the Indian diaspora community is making to the economy. The NHS, the Scottish NHS is reliant on skilled Indian workforce, doctors and senior nurses and specialists. Our tech sector is the Indian diaspora community is critical to that in terms of the skill that it brings. So whiskey's great because the big argument about whiskey, of course, is wonderful, but we need to have that debate and that relationship about tariffs and about how you can get more whiskey sold in India and how you can drink more of it. Desperate for you to drink more. Please drink more. So all of these things are great, and actually there's a real thirst, I think, in a Scottish context to set up something like this. Because the issues in Scotland are different. There's a lot of issues that are involved. And yes, some of the big issues are Westminster based, whether that be trade, whether it be immigration, a big issue, whether it be some of the skills and economic things. But actually there's a real thirst in Scotland to have something similar that should check things out. And we talked before we started about the potential for direct airline.
Yes, definitely.
These are the kind of things that those parties can really be championing and getting them onto the agenda and push through, because that would be a marvellous thing. And even just as a representative board, the Indian diaspora community is so large and so important, and it's supplemented every year, of course, by Indian students who are coming in, which are a huge body of people contributing so much. So, yes, I think it's a great idea. I'm very happy to support it.
Yeah, that led me to the next question, which came from a student community. I had a student organization called INSA, Indian National Student Association, which is student well-being organization. So as you know, that the Indian student have surpassed China to become the largest international student community, contributing more than £20 billion to UK universities and economy. But and they also turned up into entrepreneurs, and they also volunteer for social causes. But the complaint they have is that they do not get the representation, especially in Scotland. If I lived in London for many years before coming to this country. There's a huge number of people participating in council, member parliament, but the representation is quite low in Scotland. Why is that so? And what if your party comes into power? What steps would you take for greater representation, and what policies would you do to make the parliament more inclusive?
Yes, it's really important. I mean, we have made a conscious effort at UK level to encourage candidates from the widest variety of backgrounds to come forward to stand for this election. I think when all 650 candidates are in place, you'll see a very broad range of candidates. But it's more of a struggle in Scotland because the diaspora communities are much smaller. And therefore it is a challenge. But you're right, our parliament and our politics should resemble the country. And at this moment in time, it's a struggle to see that does. Although we do have, of course, an Asawa, Yusuf, and Cultural Chowdhury. There's three that I can think of from my head from diaspora communities, not necessarily Indian diaspora communities, but from diaspora communities. Our Prime Minister.
Yes.
So there is movements in the right direction, but these things never happen quickly. And I suppose my challenge back to you would be to help us in the communities to help find people that would want to stand and be ambitious. It's not party politics, not necessarily Labour, but we should be finding people and encouraging them and saying that this is something you can do if you want to do it, and then we'd be happy to support you through that process to be able to do that. We've made great strides across the whole of UK politics and Scottish politics in diversification away from pale and male and stale. But we do need to make a larger effort to try and find the people, and that's the biggest challenge.
So Ian, I know that you're a die-hard Hearts fan.
Yes.
So do you go and watch matches in the stadium as well?
As much as I can. I've not had a season ticket for some years because I wasn't able to go. And there was such a queue of people looking to get season tickets. I thought it was unfair for me to be holding up a seat sitting empty. So I haven't had a season ticket for some time, but I do go every time I can.
Right. And who's your favourite player?
Oh, well, it's got to be this goal scorer. Shanklin, the goal scorers always are the favourite players. But Hearts are a great club. They're a great community club. Do a lot of stuff in the community. And they're the largest fan-owned club in Britain. Which is a real achievement. It has its challenges, but it's a real achievement, and they're doing well. And mainly, the big thing is the supporters are happy. And that's the biggest success story of any football. But I'm relatively happy at the moment, which helps me. But I mainly watch Hearts games now if they're on the TV, or I listen to them if they're on the radio, because getting to the stadium is quite tricky. So I thought your question was going to be Hearts or Hibs.
No.
That would have been easy to answer.
So, apart from this, what do you do to unwind yourself? Because I believe that politics is quite a stressful job, and so is there anything you do to unwind yourself, to relax, or do something outside your world of politics?
I've never found a stressful job, and the basis that actually there's a lot of jobs out there that are much more stressful. It's very time consuming. It is very overbearing at times, and it is 7 days a week, 364 days a year. I've yet to work on Christmas Day. But yes, so it is all the same. But I have a 3.5-year-old daughter, so essentially any spare time I have gets sucked up these days by Zola, which is the right thing, and something that I really enjoy. She does make me laugh and smile every day, which is something that is a great thing to have, and she's at a brilliant age. So this job is dreadful for family life, absolutely dreadful, which is one of the challenges actually in a serious sense about how you attract more people in, because it is a big challenge and big trade-offs. And the trade-off is that you're not with your family half of the week, whichever way you organise yourself, and that's a huge trade-off.
So, Ian, we're coming to the end of the podcast. It has been our ritual that at the end of the podcast, we will ask some fun rapid-fire questions.
Yes.
So, are you ready for that? So,
depends what they are. I'm ready, but it depends what they are.
So, you just say, just don't think too much. Just take 10 seconds or so to think about it and just respond to it. Okay. So, what song that you absolutely hate, but it doesn't get out of your head? Is there any song which you just don't like it, but you just keep going in your mind?
Sunshine on Leaf.
Oh, Sunshine on Leaf. Okay.
But there's also those other songs that I can't think of what the big ones that were out last year because of the Barbie film.
Yeah. My daughter is
and because I've got a 3.5-year-old, she's really into Frozen at the moment.
Right.
And it's a great movie and with great songs, but those are the kind of songs that get into your head and you can't get. So yes, those ones in particular.
So do you enjoy Indian curry? Is there any particular Indian curry you like?
Yes, I'm a big fan of Rogan Josh.
Rogan Josh, okay.
I've never been to India actually. I was happy for the first time and wanted to go for a whole host of reasons, but mainly to try the food because I know in country it's much different. But I absolutely love Indian food, and there's a little Indian around the corner of where I live when I'm in London, and it's just fantastic.
Yeah, probably we'll work on something for Scotland and India, and we'll take you to to
Well, isn't Scotland the capital of Indian curry, essentially? Did Scotland not invent the
chicken tikka masala?
Tikka masala?
Yeah. So, Game of Thrones or Harry Potter?
Oh, Harry Potter. I've never watched Game of Thrones, actually. Never given it any time at all.
So, one world leader you would like to have a cup of tea with?
One word I'd love to have a cup of tea with. You said not to think about these things too much.
Yeah, just whatever comes to your mind. Not necessarily political.
I don't know.
Your 10 subtitles about to get on
running out of time. I don't know. I mean, it's always interesting to speak to the President of the United States just to get a perspective on things. So that would be a very interesting cup of tea. But the new President of Argentina seems interesting.
Right.
Maybe that would be all. Maybe that'd be the most interesting cup of tea in geopolitics at the moment.
Yeah. So, any favorite movie or book that inspires you?
Yeah, I don't get to read as much as I would like in terms of reading books, but I do love a political biography.
Right.
And I spoke about it. It's always great to just see behind people's public veneer and who they really are. So those always really interest me. And the best one that I read, which really surprised me because I didn't really mean to, it was John Sargent, who used to be the political editor of the BBC.
Right, okay.
And he did his biography called Just Give Me 10 Seconds, which was about his most famous role when Thatcher resigned and he was standing outside on the steps of the Paris embassy residence in Paris. So I read that and loved it just because of his background and because he was in politics. So I really enjoyed that. So yeah, I don't have one in particular, but I really like political biographies.
Thank you for playing along and answering all the questions again. So, is there a message or call of action you want to say to our audience?
Well, I think I mentioned it earlier, but I think the first thing is thank you, because we don't say that enough. And the Indian diaspora community in the UK provides so much to our economy, provides so much to our services, and just provides so much to our communities and culture. And that's something we don't say thank you enough for. And let's work together for a brighter future.
Thank you, Ian. Your story is deeply resonant, and you reminded us that even for most challenging time can lead to incredible things. And you've been an MP for such a long time, and all your commitment for social justice and for Scotland shines through your work. I hope if the Labour Party wins, you get an important portfolio, and we will see through how you translate your vision into actions. So all the best for upcoming election.
Thank you very much.
And I hope to see you for a longer interview next time. I know you're short of time, but once election is over, I hope to get more time.
Next time we do it, we could do it in government, which would be great. You have the opportunity to have. So that's my promise to you.
Okay.
If we win the election, and we're lucky enough to be in power, we'll do this interview in government, and we can talk about all the good things we're going to be doing.
Perfect. Yeah. Thank you so much. You've been very kind to give your valuable time. Thank you so much. Yeah.